Welcome back to part 3 of the Freeplays.com tutorial. Freeplays.com, America's #1 free pick site for sports handicapping. My name is Tom Hatfield. I am the handicapper at Razor Sharp Sports. You'll find my stuff right here at Freeplays.com under Razor Sharp Sports. On this tutorial, we're going to take a look at the basics of betting. Basically, your football lines and your basketball lines. We'll also have another video coming up in a little bit that'll explain a little bit more when it comes to baseball and hockey. There you're dealing with some run lines, you're dealing with some more money line type of situations, and we'll get that into a little bit more detail along with the parlays. But what we're going to look at right now are your basics when it comes to betting on football and basketball. Football and basketball very similar. We're just going to take a look at a football game tonight. The first one on the board is Michigan State and Utah State. As you see here on our site, the bottom team will always be on their home field unless they're otherwise noted. If there's a note up on top, kind of like here, the note you see says time change, it would say the game's being played on a neutral site, a different field, that type of thing. If you do not see that, yes, the game will be played on the bottom team's home field. Anyway, back to the line. As we mentioned before, the first thing you see is the opening line. In this case, Michigan State opened as a 25.5 point favorite. That is the smaller of the two numbers. The bigger of the two numbers is the over, under, or total on the game. Now, as the line moves here throughout the week, we continue to add on to this list of lines until you see the most current line, which is the one on the farthest to the right. As you see here, Michigan State is currently a 23.5 point favorite. The over-under or total is at 52. Another line you're going to find here on our page is what they call the money line. And that is this number right here, where you see Michigan State is minus 2,000 and Utah State is plus 2,500. Now you're saying, hey, I have no idea what that means. Don't worry, I will get to that in a little bit. Also, you find the first half. What the first half line is very similar to the regular game line, except all you're doing is betting on the first half of the game. So at halftime, whatever the score is, and that is how the first half line goes. So if you bet on Michigan State, say here as a 14-point favorite, they would have to be ahead by more than 14 points at halftime for you to win. And again, the bigger number is the total or the over-under total points scored in the first half. Now we're going to switch over to another page here real quick just to get away from all the other numbers on the page, make it maybe a little bit less confusing. Once again, here we go. Utah State at Michigan State. Currently the line is Michigan State 23.5. Now what that means is that, well, let's see, we just kind of lost the page, but it should pop back in here for just a second. What that 23.5 point means is that in Las Vegas, they're saying that Michigan State is a 23.5 point better than Utah State, or about that. You get to decide whether you think Michigan State is better than that and will win by more than 23.5, or if Utah State will, what they call, cover the spread, either win the game straight up or lose by less than 23.5. So if you're betting on the side and you want to bet on Michigan State, they have to win by more than 23.5 points for you to win your bet. Now, once again, if you bet on Utah State, who is the underdog, they can either win the game straight up, or they can still lose the game, but as long as they lose by less than 23.5 points, you would win your bet. Now, as I mentioned before, the bigger of the two numbers, right here, let me get over here and point my little arrow at it for you. And it's just not letting me do it here, but we'll get it here for you, don't worry. Well, we won't worry about it. You see the 52 right here, all right? What that is the over-under, or sometimes people call it the total. And that is the total points scored in the ball game by both teams combined. So, say the final score is 38-31. If you bet over 52, and the two teams combined to score more than 52 points in the game, you would win your bet. Now, say you think it's going to be more of a defensive battle, then you would bet under the total right there, under 52, and the two teams combined to score less than 52 points, then you would win your bet there. Now, let's say that the final score ends up being Michigan State 31, Utah State 21. If that's the case, right on the 52, well, that is called a push. That's a tie. And that means you don't win, you don't lose. You've just basically get the money you originally bet back, and you start dead even. Now, when it comes to Las Vegas or betting, you also have to lay the vig or the juice. And what that means is you have to bet just a little bit more than what you're planning on winning back when you make your bet. And that's the reason why Las Vegas is as shiny and bright as it is. So whether you're betting on the side or the over-under, you lay that vig or juice. Most cases, the vig is about 10%. So if you want to win $100, you're actually going to have to bet $110 on it. So if you win the game or win your bet, you would get $210 back. The original $110 that you bet plus your $100 winnings. If you lost, you'd end up losing your $110. That's the exact same situation whether you're betting on the side or if you're betting on the over and under. The next thing, as we mentioned before, is the money line. This is one of those situations where you say, I don't want to deal with the point spread. I just want to pick who's going to win the football game. In this case, Michigan State is minus 2,000. What the minus 2,000 means is, well, yes, Michigan State should win the football game, but they're going to make you lay a lot more money, and you're going to lose a lot more money if they don't than if they win and how much you're going to win. So if you bet on Michigan State on the money line, you're going to have to bet 2,000 to win 100, or something toward that ratio like betting 200 to win $10. So it's pretty steep when you're talking about betting a money line, especially on somebody as big of a favorite as Michigan State is here in this game. Now, if you happen to think that maybe Utah State could pull the big upset here and win this game, and you want to bet it on the money line, this is a chance for you to make a lot of money if they do win, because as we mentioned before, they were plus 1250. What that means is you would bet $100 on Utah State, and if they won the game straight up, you would win $1,250, or something of that ratio, like betting $10 on it. If you didn't want to put a whole $100 on it, you bet $10 on it to win $125. Now we're going to switch here back to our freeplays.com page real quick, and before we go, I want to talk about the line moves. As we talked before, Michigan State opened as a 25.5 point favorite. It moved all the way down to 23.5. And you want to say, hey, well, what happened if Michigan State ends up winning the game, say, 38-14? They end up winning by 24 points. I want to see, when did that line move to from 24 to 23.5? Did I get a push, or did I possibly get a win because they won by the 24 instead of 23.5? Well, you click on the line moves right there, and you'll see that it was at 24, but at 2:27 p.m. Eastern on August 31st, that line moved to 23.5. Now, if you page all the way down, you will see that the line first came out on July 27th. Most lines come out once a week, but because this is week 1, they've been up for about a month or so. And these are all the moves over the last month or so on this game. Also here you see the total went to 52 at 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time here on August 31st. And you'll also find all the over-under moves for that game. So that's your basics when it comes to the betting of football and basketball lines. Of course, in basketball, you're going to have the over-under be a lot higher than the football scores, but overall, it's the exact same thing. You're betting the point spread, you're betting on a money line, you're betting on an over and under. Now, baseball lines, hockey lines, a little bit different, and our next tutorial we'll cover how those work for you, and hopefully you keep on checking back here. Also, make sure you check into freeplays.com. Check out one of our great handicappers. They can give you some great winners as the football season kicks off here this week, and we have some great things coming up, so you want to check that all out. Good luck.